Good day viewers, welcome back to my mermaid girlfriend Shadow Blade. So let's continue on. Maybe my worries were misplaced. Maybe I just been panicking over nothing these past few nights. My system starting into the void. Debating Clyde's next move might just turn out to be a waste of time. I hope they do. I hope that soon we can stop fretting over this stupid situation. And I hope that soon Data will actually bother coming to the bed at night. As per usual, I find her seated on the window, still starting into the night. Still worried? How can I not be? At any moment, the force of darkness might strike. This would be their opportune moment. Striking during the lull, the calm, the period where lesser warriors rest their weary heads. But not, I've seen it before. The freaky fish guy will make his move and must be ready for him. I think you're panicking way too much. What is he going to do to us exactly? He knows just how dangerous you are now. He doesn't have to also take us on. Humans do very stupid things when they're panicking or nervous. Just ask Iris. I blink. Who? He's one of our schoolmates. Data sign. No, he's not. He leans back against the wall, sliding the floor. Was one of the friends back among the Merfolk Kingdom. A magnificent warrior. Very bold and daring, yet he didn't come to my family, so he wasn't fit to the guard of the royal family. A knowingly grin tugs at her lips. He was quite the warrior though. He fought to draw every chance he get. His smile fades, but he was foolhardy. A human come upon a home, a hostile one. It made short work of him and decided to foolishly pursue after the man's friend. We heard nothing back for days, though none among the merfolk were particularly worried. His power was known to all. Surely he would overcome the humans. And of course, he did. Her hand trembles as a little but tightens into iron grip. He found his body among others a day later. The fool was not to be underestimated in battle. He killed all 7 of these raiders. Yes, he underestimated his foes, victory creatures that they were. Had he not, he might still be with us. I'm sorry. But Iris sought out his foes. We're doing no such thing. You don't understand. Iris might have died, but he killed all of them. This Clyde will take a similar path. I'm sure of it. We have wounded him physically and mentally. Even if his bruises heal, his pride will not. That was Iris' curse. Denying him a place by the side of the royal family set him on the bloody path. One word the world demanded he prove himself that he would shut their eyes when he tried. It led to his death. The freaky fish guy will walk the same path. He will aim to reveal our existence to the world, especially now that he's seen it for himself. He might fall by my hand, any of the hands in the process, but not because hurting us. That's why I stand guard. That's why I stand ready. Because when he makes his gambit, I will meet the same fate as Iris prey. Delta. I understand, but you haven't slept in 3 days. She'll deny it, I know her. But one look at her face tells me all I need to know. The dark shadow eclipsing under her face. The tight valley opening across her face, scar of exhaustion fit only for the middle age. Even they just weigh her body sometimes. Carrie is dancing to the tune of the Sandman's pipe. You're exhausted. What good will you be in in a fight if you fall asleep at the enemy's feet. I'm not weakling, human. Her sharp crack through the silent hum of the house. I will not be defeated in this battle, but it might mean you're losing the war. I refuse. What? Shoot something before Isla is I lay among my dreams. She leave that thought unfinished, turning the attention back to the window. Oh no, I can't leave her alone. Damn it. I can leave her all alone, lonesome. She'd never admit it, but of course she's struggling to stay awake. Some backup would prove helpful to her. Alright, fine. I'm staying with you. Delta's eyes widen. That's not necessary. Stammering, that's so unlike her. Even so, I'm decided. So move over. She mutters to protest, but I can't cut her off and sit down next to her. She has the resignation, but she gives some space and continue her vigil. So, do you plan on taking me all night long? I warn you now, I will not make for good conversation. I am here to watch for our foes. Fine, I guess we can sit in silence. A matter of 5 seconds before I itching to ask Delta something. I resist because I'm not here here for my own personal reason. Or am I? Very well. I must admit the silent howl of the night is just as annoying for me. What happened to the resolve of the Royal Protector? It's still present, but my mind carves something a little more adequate. That counting the hours that flies by. How about a game of cards? That will suffice. I pick up a pack and quickly explain the simple card to Delta. Her sharp mind picks up on in no time, and in a couple of rounds, she's trashing me. That's my third one. Delta, Her head drops but springs back in place. I'm fine, but she's not. I crush her in the third and fourth by the fifth, and she's falling asleep against her cards. Delta, what? Go to bed. I'll stay up for tonight. No. She yawns, shaking her head as it throws off the fatigue. Delta, go to bed. But, no buts. I can't stand to see this happening to you, so go to bed. Her excuse catches in her throat. She looks at me with wide eyes, the little tiredness lifting for a brief moment. She nods and pats me on the shoulder as she walks by. Thank you, Blade. She heads off upstairs, a little happier now that she's gone to get some rest. I seat myself into the windowsill, keeping a watchful eye for the freaky fish guy. I wake up the next day in a mild headache and tired eyes. Stupid late nights. I yawn and make my way downstairs, where I find Pearl happily humming along to the TV. Hey! Hi! Where's everyone else? Isla wanted to go to the walk, Delta went with her. So it's just me in here. Fun! Are you feeling like something to eat? Pearl shakes her head smiling. No thanks, I already ate. She points at the kitchen and my heart dies a little. Waffle butter lines the wall like paint, already hardening in place. You guys really need to clean up after yourselves. Sorry, it's fine. I'm going to start hiring a part-time cleaner. What you watching? A super cool movie. Oh, it's about a guy and his girl loves each other. Sounds like a lot of film actually. But it's different. You see, they're actually going to some place called a movie theater. Pearl said to herself, I love to go one of those places. All the snacks and all the film to watch. Looks amazing. I haven't been to see a movie in forever. Wait. Pearl looks at me with these dazzling eyes, her jaw dropping open. Does that mean movie theaters exist? Huh? Oh yeah, of course they do. OMG, OMG, OMG. Pearl jumps to her feet. I thought they were just fictional things. That's so cool! Can we go? Who's really excited? Her eyes are positively brimming with happiness. Sure, we can go. Thank you, Blade. Yes! I jump backward from Pearl, electricity sparking from her fingertips. Oops! Sorry about that. I got pretty happy. No worries. I leave a note for Isla and Delta before heading out to Pearl. We arrive outside the theater. It's not the biggest one in the world, but they do get all the latest and greatest release. I'm sure Pearl will be delighted to know that they got a ton of snacks. But first we gotta go at the important choice to make. What film are we going to see? Three epic hits were showing about the theater entrance. One was the latest superhero blockbuster, something about a purpose of taking over the world. The next was a chilling, horrific trick. The post was giving me shivers. The third was an independent French film. The poster featured a man in the black and white smoking a cigarette. Tough choice. What to go for? I don't know what to go for. That horror film looked very spooky. Oh, I never seen a horror film. Can we go watch it? Sure thing. I hobbled her hair and stepped into the cinema. It was a bit old looking now, but the theater was still in a fantastic shape. More posters lined in the walls, and the ticket stand had an affair of people queuing up. We grab our tickets for the horror film and head over to the concession stand. Plastic containers stuffed with full of sweets, shelves stocked with row of candy and bars, and of course, the ever-present popcorn machine offering life's most difficult dilemma, salty or sweet. So what do you want? Yes, I'm sorry, everything. I want to try everything. If you listen every carefully, you can hear my wallet crying out in the sheer terror. She wants everything. Begging, eating not to let this happen. With a solemn hand, I reached for my little money container, knowing it's about to become a whole lot lighter. Alright, Paul, go ahead. Bankrupt me. She grinned as she grinned. We entered the room, featuring our screening. I struggled under the weight of the snack. Pearl was barely able to see over to the mountain of the popcorn and bags of sweets. Do you think this will be enough for the showing? Maybe I should go back and get more. Considering I just been cleaned out, that was longer than possible. Besides, the trailer were finishing up and the film was about to begin. So what's this film about? About a guy who was killed in a store robbery. He returned from the dead and kills people who stole from his store. That's amazing and spooky. Think it will happen in real life? Of course not. It's just a movie. That's what I tell her. Although about 20 minutes in after the first couple of jump scare, Pearl is tensing up. Her hands gripped the armrest tightly, and she forced herself to look at the screen through antled fingers. You alright? I don't like loud noises. Hey, they don't happen all the time. See, they're in the sunny neighborhood right now. Everything is I jumped to my seat, almost flinging the snacks across the room. The blood trailed from the Pearl's face. Scary. Do you want to stop watching it? Pearl pauses for a moment to think about it, but in the end she refuses me. It's okay. Besides, you already paid for it. She masked a brave smile. I'll be okay. Yet every so often I find her closing the distance between us. She trembles and mutters under her breath. I quickly look around, realizing she might enter a room to ourselves. It's not like she is disturbing anyone, but is there something I can do to make her feel better? It's her first horror film, right? There's no way she's used to this sort of thing. From the dark atmosphere, the loud noises. Besides, it couldn't be doing anything great to her anxiety. Hey! I wrapped my around her shoulder. It's just a film, not if it's real. But the killer guy is super scary looking. It's so realistic. How can it be not real? It's cinema. It's designed to make you feel stuff. Comedy makes you laugh. Horror makes you scared. Romance makes you feel lovely stuff. She giggles at that. Lovely stuff. Sounds like you never have a girlfriend before. Hey, I have a girlfriend. She gives me a knowing look. I mean, friend, who are girls. Oh, that's cute. If it helps, I haven't had a boyfriend before. Wait, really? She notes her attention diverted from the other speaking taking place on the silver screen. Yeah, my family tried to find me a suitor and I was considered an eligible candidate because of my status. But no one was interested in me. That cherry order drops a little, a wave of sadness sweeping into the rocky boat that is Port's emotion. I can't believe we're feeling like this. Well, that's loads of nonsense. Huh? I'd be totally sick to have you as my girlfriend. She blushes a deep red. Really? You like that? I nod. You're such a fun, interesting girl. But they always said I was too clumsy, too annoying, too shocky. I pull her a little tighter. I find all of that endearing. And besides, I note to the screen. If I had faced down some particularly killer armed with kitchen utensil for hand, then there's only one girl I'll be on my side. The one could shock him. A genuine smile from onto her lip, and she leaped into me. We stayed that way long after the credits roll. That's pretty good. It was still so scary. Perk clings to my arm as we depart the movie and try to make it our way back home. Oh, come on, it wasn't that bad. It was. I think I go see romantic film next time. At least it won't be scared. Come on, there was a romantic on that film. Yeah, and they ended up getting eaten by a monster. You know that? Fair point. Bro sign. Still, apart from everything is okay, it's great how Clyde's back out. Yeah, I was having trouble believing it myself, but he hasn't bugged us all these past few days. See, he kept his promise. Things are gonna be fine now. Wait a sec. Hold that thought. I pulled behind her and a low brick wall as we grow closer to the house. What is it? Look! I pointed the car in the street. Under normal circumstances, it wouldn't be cause for alarm, but there was identical black lucky number plates. Titan black window with identity of the occupants and all seem to be placed close to the house. Does it look right? Come on, we must go inside. I rushed Pearl to the back toward the building and put a stomach once again. Have we been found? I don't get it. We burst into the house and immediately dropped the line from the window. Head upstairs. Pearl complies, making her way to the upper level. It is him. No, I don't think so. But there were three mysterious looking vehicles outside. Delta frowned. Spying on us? It looks like it. I should dispose of them. Hey, come on. It might be nothing. I refuse to believe that. Delta peers through the window. You don't show up cars with tinted black window if you don't intend to watching someone. They're here for us. If we go after them, they might overpower us. Or worse, they might send more people. For now, we got no proof you guys are... I cut myself off. If there's a bug in that house, they might give the girls away. I have to be careful. Well, you know, Delta knows slowly. Very well, I'll trust your judgment on this one. I'll make sure the second floor is covered. I'll go check on Isla. Delta poses, struck by the sudden thought. You might not like what she has to say. How come? She hoisted her trident and pointed towards the kitchen. Ask her. Thanks for the answer. Still, I wonder what this means. Curiosity about the statement, I enter the kitchen. I find Isla in the kitchen table, head in her hand. The room was clean of Pearl's mess from this morning, but there was something new here. An old seashell resting on the kitchen table. Hey! Silent, Isla barely shifted in her seat. Is something wrong? She motioned towards the shell before standing and running from the room. It's only a split second, but I can catch a glimpse of something in her eye, shining and wet. What was that about? A seashell! I move over to the seashell and examine it. It turns over to reveal a message into the material. What the? Dear Princess, we are delighted to have received your report related to the activities of the surface dwellers. Your effort had been instrumental in preparing for the eventual meeting with the human. As such, we believe it is finally time for you and your servants to... The shell falls from the hand, cracking against the kitchen table. To go home? No! Already? It couldn't be. It feels like it's been a few days. Heck, Isla hasn't even been in our school for that long. Now that they sent to return home? What did Delta think about this? What was Pearl going to say? Was that why Delta went upstairs to inform her? And what about Isla? Did she really want to return home? Was she fed up with the humans? In some way, I should be relieved. The girls were eating me out of the house and home and quickly racking up my bills. But they didn't mean anything. The fact that I like having the girls around. I don't want them to go. With an invisible hand tugging at my heart, I made my way upstairs and I knocked at Isa's door. Hey, you okay? Just fine, Blade. Mind your own business and go cook us dinner for something. Wow, she's really going all out. My memories really linger on the time before Isla was a mermaid. Just how did she manage to conceal her bad attitude from us? Still, do you want to poke a sleeping mermaid right now? No, I should. I care about Isla. A lot of that matter. She didn't look like she was feeling all that well. I think she could do with a friend right now. I can't leave her when she's like this. Tossing caution on the nearest window, I entered the room. It had been a while since I'd been here. The floor was lined with the torn remnants of the poster. A few chairs had been knocked to the floor, and boxes of jewelry were scattered like sparkling glass. Taking care of to step over them, I joined Isla on the bed. Hey, I thought I told you to leave me alone. I'm not in the mood to talk to you right now. I think you need someone to talk to. Are you feeling okay? Of course not. She crossed her arms and turns away from me. Come on, you hate humans, right? Don't tell me you've grown soft on us. She scoffed. Of course not. You're still the same gross fleeting who had come to hate. But that doesn't mean I don't like it here. She leans back against the wall. Being with this whole time has taught me a few things. That you freaks are actually capable of improving. You're actually capable of being kind and sweet. Which can't be thinking, what if you're going this the wrong way? Huh? Isa leaned back to the bed. I've been preparing you all like it's going to be World War III or something. But maybe you guys just need to chance to meet us. Maybe you just need some time to get to know us. To shoot, as you guys would say. I scoop a little closer to Isla. You run the risk of encountering guys like Clyde, though. Shh, Isla giggles a little bit. Now who's the human hater? Look, Blade, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but maybe there is some kind of future for our two race. A future that was some part in. Just who was talking to here. Whenever I feel like I understand Isla, she flipped the switch on me. She went from this cute, adorable girl to this mean, human-hating mere creature. And now she's changed again. You're really difficult, you know that? How come? You need to stop changing personalities every 5 minutes, you weirdo. Weirdo! Fire flares up in her eyes as she starts to point at accusatory finger at me. You dummy! I don't change personality. Oh wait, I think I got it. This is the real you. Half nice and half hot-headed. You're just trying to hide it right now. Maybe we should just go back to the ocean. At least Ed would have put with your cute dumb face. What was that first word? Nothing. She jumps to her feet and pushes towards the bedroom exit. I just stick my tongue out at her. Hey, what? Make sure you come back. I have a spare bed waiting for you. Her anger freezes up in the face and like she cut something with mid-cooked jar teeth. It slipped away to shock, then to a simple smile tugging at the corner of her mouth. She looked down at the floor, cheek flustered. Thanks. Anytime. I leave the room after that mainly because I'm sure Isla wants some time to herself. That, and I don't want her to see me crying. Ha! Beat you? What is this nonsense? Oh, no fair. I wanted to crush Delta. There will be no crushing for myself. I can still find a way of this. I just need to sell up a few priorities. Nope, nah, not gonna work. Why you? Hand over your money. I promise you, you will regret this. Delta hand over her money and stormed off the upstairs. Probably to polish her trident, so it's a nice shiny one it you use on me tonight. Now the only enemy standing in the way of victory is Pearl. Sweet innocent Pearl. I'm going to have a crush her in order to win this. But can I really do that? Look at her cute little face. Her big round eyes begging me to steal all her money. Can I really go through with this? I don't know what to pick. Nah, I'm going to be nicer to her. Besides, she is the worst she can be. Aha! In just a few short turns, my banks ran dry. All my properties belong to Pearl and I left with nothing. What just happened? I win! We played! Pearl skipped off to another room, leaving me to pick up the shattered pieces of my pride. That was brutal? Yikes, I could feel that form here. Isla entered the room and towel dropped over her shoulder. Hey, you are going to take a shower or something? Nope, you're taking me swimming. What? Come on, you'll be fine. Memories of the actual I meant crouching in the bushes spring to mind. No, not a chance. Oh great, has Delta got to do to you? Not exactly, no. But things are a bit tense right now. Think about it. We know Clyde is probably going to try something. And there are those cars we saw parked around the house. If it's for my point, I glanced through the window. Sure enough, the vehicles are still unmoved. Nope, we're not going on the beach again. Blade, it's getting really hard to maintain this form right now. What does it matter if you just wait a bit longer? You're going home soon, aren't you? Not for a while yet, and I don't exactly want to lose myself to this human form. Besides, I need to reach to the mermaid form, make sure I'm capable of swimming back home. What about the rest? I really don't get Isla sometimes. She was feeling awfully what happened to the first time. Why she changed into her mind all of a sudden? And should I really cave into her? I know she's just exactly asking for the world, but things are really dangerous right now. Can we afford to take that risk? I don't know. But whatever. I don't know. Okay, fine. Yay, thank you so much. But we gotta be super careful. In any sign of trouble, we're leaving immediately. Deal. Isla offered me a handshake to take it. Let's go. I should maybe tell Delta about this. She just can't get mad with us and tell me to stay put. Come on, we can keep this between us. Now let's go. I'm sick of waiting. My resistance beat to the pulp, and I slowly nod to follow Isla outside the house. And the sea air is just what I needed. She pocket her hand as she drew closer to the sea, allowing the wind to whip through her hair. Thanks, Blade. I really needed this. And Isla dived into the water and glanced behind us to make sure we were followed. Nobody's there. It's fine. Hey, loser. Isla waved her tail at me. You're going to join me? Sure. Yeah, word over nothing. We're gonna be alright. I stepped down my swimming trunks and rushed into the water. Swim over Isla, who nods admiration. You kinda got a lot better than that. I had a good teacher. She gave me a warm, genuine smile. You know I'm awesome, you know that? Eh? Taking care of me and the girls. Protecting us from harm. You've been really, really great. And I really don't want to return home. And I was hoping I could ask you something. The distance between us closes, and Isla puts her hand to my cheek. Something I at Blade? Yeah? The word silent instead leaving the stage to Isla. Do you maybe want... Bang! Light peels out the speech. My eyes blink and I fall to my knees. My vision a bright red, peeked through my fingers, trying to spot the maniac who ran into the sun. As soon as I find them, several dark shapes racing down onto the beach. Nets and buttons on their hands. Isla! Swim, Isla! Get out of here! I feel like next to me. Her tail brushes over me as she dives underneath the water. Slowly, soft sounds follow her, and then a new visitor rushes into the water. No! My vision. What recovered, I smacked the punch in the shape of the rampas. One grunt and another out in pain. My hand hurt, but I don't care. Keep your hands off her! Crack. The pain is something else. I fall to my knees, the back of my head pounding. Ugh. Forget it, kid. Grab the mermaid. Target secure. No, get off me. Please, help me. Isla. No. Snap out of it, idiot. Everything is so blurry. Though darkened vision, I spy two of the figure dragging Isla away. She bites theirs, but she's not strong enough to break their grip. Gotta help her. I take an steady step forward. They're going further away, now rushing back to their car. No! A blurry vision fades. The pain drops down to the tolerated level. No! I'm not going to let them take her away from me. I will stop you. I chased them in the bellowing cry. Ah! One of them men lagging behind spot me, and he grinned like he's going to go easy on the fight. Not likely. Out of my way. I duck underneath his punch and pass the spare quick on the jaw. He smacked to the ground enough to smooth sand everywhere. I seized the bottle and chased after the other. Blade, help me! Hang on, Isla, I'm coming! Stop that brat! You two men turn around me. Beside them, they shove Isla inside the car. Get off her! The first walking swing catches my arm, and he's in pain but powered through it and bring bottle stripped down to his knee. And he screamed out, and another whip toppled to the floor. Let her go! Stay out of this, kid. We don't want to hurt you. Funny, I wasn't thinking of the same thing. The second guard bring a button down and agitate him to the stomach. He rears back, and slipped to the floor, grunting in pain. They only leave the car. The engine powers on. Isla pound against the glass window. Now I gotta stop them. I race over to the driver and see the door open. What the? Smack! I catch him square in the jaw. He falls against the steering wheel, grunting. Give me back my friend! I tried to tug him out of the car, aiming to stop them, and there and then. Isla, hang on. Help me! A hand lands on my shoulder. I turn a giant man standing behind me. One of the guy I knocked down on the bench. Shh! Pow! Stars of my vision, I tickle the blood running down my head. I curl up into a ball, unable to make sense of anything. Isla, no! Get up! Get up! I struggle to my feet once I fall back down. I try to push myself back again. The engine roars to life once again. The air fills with error. Things of dirtiness might cough. I cough a splatter. Isla screams over a more distance. Isla, no! I shake her off, stand to my feet. But it's too late. She's gone. Isla, I'm so sorry. Okay guys, we'll continue next part. For the video, we'll continue, but also hope you enjoy. So, share the video. Goodbye.